My stepmom stole all the food in our house, then called CPS on us?
What kind of plot?
I am shaking. So we had a lot going on lately. My husband drives a truck and his work slows way down during the winter to the point we had to take out a loan just to make utility payments. On top of that, I've been dealing with PPD since birth of DS2, almost 6 months, and we found out about 2 weeks ago that I'm pregnant again, just like Panda Manda. By the way, this comes from Petrichor Luna, and if you want to submit your own stories, please go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So in desperation, I posted on the food pantry sub, and the response was amazing. We got so much food, I cried for days. I went to my doctor, and we agreed that I need some help, so I started on an antidepressant. I accepted the idea of another baby, even if it was sooner than we wanted, and began to get excited. I was finally in a good place. I had my first OB appointment yesterday morning, but we couldn't see the baby on the ultrasound, just the gestational sac. Ladies, mothers,
Sophia.
what does that even mean?
So
The pouch.
Pouch? Did you just call it a pouch?
My OB was really positive and said it may be too early to see, but she also mentioned the possibility of a blighted ovum.
Yeah, Kimberly finds is like baby shrink wrap. Yeah, it's the thing that's like around the baby.
That's what I thought. It was, baby shrink wrap. That basically means that something went wrong and the baby never developed. There's not really a cause, just bad luck. I know it seems silly, given how upset I originally was about being pregnant, but I was absolutely devastated.
Aww.
I sat in my car and cried with my husband for a long time before I went to my mom's to pick up the boys.
So it seems like it's basically a false pregnancy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
We got home to find all of the food in our pantry gone. All that was left was some dry pasta sauce and a few cans of tuna. The baby formula was gone. The baby food and diapers were gone. The packs of wipes reliefs were gone. All the veggies out of the fridge were gone. There was just milk and leftovers.
Why'd she leave the milk?
The doors were still locked, and there were no signs of a break-in. The only person with a key is my dad. I truly believe my dad didn't know anything about it, but when I told my stepmom about the food we were sent, she got vile. She started going off about how we shouldn't have kids if we can't take care of them ourselves, and demanded we give them custody of the boys immediately. I was honestly shocked. She's been Beck before when we would ask them to watch the kids so we could go see a movie or something. Parents don't get to do that. The babies have to come first. But she has never been anywhere near this level. My dad stepped in, told her to shut the F up, and we left. In shock, but sure it was over.
That's insane. That's like you go no contact with that person.
Yeah.
I'm kind of shocked that the dad didn't immediately divorce her.
Of course, I called and confronted her yesterday, and she denied everything. I called my dad, and he confirmed that she hadn't brought any food into the house and didn't think she would do that. But he still asked me not to file a police report until he talked to her. I figured she would have very easily thrown it all out somewhere, but I decided I needed to file a police report anyways, even though they'll never be able to prove it was her, because this was a very clear attempt to endanger my kids. Thank God I did. CPS knocked on my door at 10 this morning saying they had received a call the day before about an unfit living conditions, namely a lack of food. I had the police report to show them, along with half a can of formula, some baby food, etc., out of the diaper bag. The lady seemed genuinely understanding when I explained the situation. I told her the food had come from friends, not strangers on the internet. She did ask if I had any relatives that could keep the kids if they did end up having to remove them temporarily, which I found very strange.
The ring set up. That's so weird. It's like clear that the stepmom was like, hey, I can take in the kids. They're not being fed. And then this CPS person shows up. This is like you need to never talk to these people again.
Kind of whack.
You can do this from the husband's perspective, and it's still mother-in-law.
Yeah, it's about the husband now.
It's about the husband. That's not something I would expect CPS to ask. I made sure to specify that I would want them placed with my mom and not my father in light of everything that has happened. She assured me that she didn't think anything would come of it, but that she would be following up in a week or so to see that we had the situation resolved. I'm absolutely beside myself right now. I never had a good relationship with this woman growing up, but she always seemed to really have the kids' best interest at heart. She absolutely dotes on them and has previously been very helpful. So I'm just trying to understand the stepmother's motive here.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. She hates OP and she wants to steal the kids. She seems crazy.
Is that really it? But what do you get out of stealing the kids?
I don't know. I think she's just crazy.
That part. Yeah.
I think she's just like, sometimes people's motives are that they're just crazy and weird. Yeah, I think a lot of people are saying lawyer. Oh, Caitlin McComas says, is CPS real? And Goth Princess says,
I thought
fake
that too.
CPS. Yeah, did they
I
send
thought that
a
too.
random
Can I get your CPS
Credentials?
file number?
Do you have CPS credentials?
Can I get your number? They helped me with the daycare for my oldest while I still worked and even brought formula for them when he was just a baby and we were really struggling. I don't want to believe she would do something like this, but I honestly see no other explanation. We've changed the locks already, but I have no idea where to go from here. My oldest was supposed to stay with them this weekend, which clearly won't be happening, but he's 4 and doesn't understand why. I could really use any advice from you guys that you have for me. We got an update. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Live stream your house.
Yeah, live stream
I don't
your
do that,
house
but-
24/7.
Yeah. I do it. I live stream my house. Would you live stream your front door?
No.
Would you
Would you live
stream
stream
downstairs?
the master bedroom?
The master bedroom?
This is the master bedroom.
Listen, there's a lot of things going on right now.
Update. First and foremost, thank you all for so much. Blah, 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 blah. She's a hateful person. Okay, maybe that might be good. It's just, everyone's like, thank you so much for all your help and support. I'm like, update, T-girl. First and foremost, thank you all for the overwhelming response. I wrote my post yesterday from a really dark place, feeling as if I somehow had failed my boys by allowing someone so evil in their lives. I felt as if I should have somehow known. Someone protected them from her. You all reminded me that she's just a hateful, vile person. It got to the point that I simply couldn't keep up with the comments. But please feel free to personal message me if you want to make sure I see something. I really appreciate all the support and everything reaching out through Okay, I should have just got here. Update. I did reach out to CPS today. That was an interesting call. Without going into a lot of details, the case is legit. The supervisor I spoke with is extremely kind and professional. I explained that I was asking because someone had stolen our food before the call was made, and I simply wanted to be sure that it was an actual CPS worker, as I had been pretty flustered when she showed up. She was shocked when I said that the worker had simply shown up, as it's apparently their policy to call beforehand to arrange a time that doesn't inconvenience the family when it isn't an emergency abuse call.
And they just showed up. They just freaking showed up.
Because the stepmom probably knows somebody.
Yeah.
Like-
Or is this
she
was that
probably
even
lied.
a CPS worker at all?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she lied and she's like, oh yeah, you can come whenever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll be home.
She agreed with me that several things were handled very unprofessionally. I was able to confirm that my follow-up will be next Friday, and she told me that she is assigning a new agent to our case.
Okay, so it seems like this was a real agent, but just a very unprofessional one.
Yeah.
Maybe the mother-in-law does have an in at the CPS or something. Or sorry, the stepmother has an as an in.
I
at the
think so.
CPS.
I think she's trying to
Nice.
scare her, or
Yeah.
I don't know, trying to find. Because let's say the CPS worker showed up and saw like a clear sign of abuse. They could have took the kids out then.
Yeah.
Like she had every right to, but I don't
There's
know.
clearly not.
She was trying to catch her in the act. I don't know.
Mhm.
Ugh. She also told me that she'll be investigating that agent, but I'm not sure if I really believe that will happen. I'm happy to have a different agent anyways. She said that as long as they get there and we have plenty of food, the case will be closed because everything seemed perfect, but to go ahead and have their doctor records ready so that they can be on file. I went to the boys' pediatrician today and got triple copies of their records. On Monday, I'm going to the office, bringing in their records and leaving with a copy of the report. Also, I miss my pediatrician, Dr. Zubox. He was so cool. He was like real with me. He was like, hey,
What do
man.
you mean he was real with you? I would hope he was real with you.
He's like, hey, man, how's your sex life?
What?
I'm like, dude, nothing's happening. He's like, good. If that ever does, like, you're smart. Be smart. He's like, you smoking? I'm like, I'm not smoking. He's like, okay, good. He just was like always checking in on me. He was a good guy.
How you doing,
So
dude?
he was doing his job.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
need
yeah.
to go to the doctors.
He's just really
Not for
kind.
anything, I just need a checkup.
It's shocking. Me and my brother have noticed this. If anyone's like kind to us, we're like, dude, this man is like the freaking guy.
This man's the best.
Yeah, it
It's
doesn't
funny.
take much. We have low bars. Okay, anyways. One copy of the records will be going in our fireproof document safe at home. Do you have yours in your fireproof document safe? I do.
What?
I have a fireproof document safe
You have a safe?
of my documents that are
Oh.
fireproof.
That's nice.
You might need that, especially living in California. That was like the first thing I
true.
got living in
Well,
California.
I bring them with me.
Oh no,
they're
my house
always
is
on
on
me.
fire. Let me go grab my documents.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're burning, they're burning.
What do you?
I'm not. I'd have to go all the way to North Carolina to get a new birth certificate.
Oh well, I don't know what my birth certificate is.
You don't have to worry about it. She's
With
not.
my
She's not
parents.
adulting yet. She's almost
You
there.
need to
Why
know
would
where
I?
it's
Why
at.
would I have my birth certificate on me? That's like
It's
my parents'
important.
thing.
No,
I didn't give birth to myself. They gave birth to me. My mom's super great with documents. She's probably got it in a file somewhere.
when
I'm
will?
shocked.
What? At what age are you going to get your documents?
I don't need them. Never. I don't. Ever want
Sophia,
mine.
for you guys.
Okay, my mom is a much better person to have control of my documents than I am. That's a fact. You can't argue with that.
I'm not arguing. I'm
Yeah.
just saying like this is the way you function. I function differently.
That's true.
I just remembered a very sad, tragic tale.
Oh, what is it?
I remember when a young Samuel Donner, he wanted to join the cool kids, but instead of labeling you as one of the cool kids,
They called me Salad Boy because I ate nothing but salads. Could not trade my lunch for a lunch. Really anything.
You know what community will always welcome you with open arms, Sam?
And make you feel like a cool kid?
The great people who have OK Storytime memberships.
Oh, I heard that 60 plus hours of members only content Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
You heard right, Sam, and it's only $5 a month.
So go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join. Now back to the story.
Chomp, chomp.
And another copy in the fireproof document safe at my mom's house to be moved to a safe deposit box as soon as they're able. My dad has been the most disappointing part of this saga. He absolutely refuses to believe that my stepmom would do this and has called several times, furious, going on about how much my accusations have upset her and demanding I apologize. I finally told him I was picking up the CPS report on Monday and will call him then to arrange a place to meet her and talk about the Hamburglar. My favorite name for her, shout out to the brilliant user who suggested it, blah, 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 blah. My poor husband was out of town for work all week while all of this was going on. I feel like every time I call him this week, something tragic was happening. From my OB appointment, the break-in, to the CPS visit. Oh, and he can't be there because he's working.
Dang.
Oh,
Dang it.
that sucks. I didn't even really get to talk to him today between going on hold with CPS, running around to doctors, and fighting with my dad. When this angel got home tonight, he had stopped on the way from his truck to buy me a $2 bath bomb out of his food money and promptly put me into a hot candlelit tub.
That's really
That's
sweet.
cute.
That's really cute. I love
My
that.
man. My
That's a
freaking man.
That's a man right there. Hope he's-
Taking notes.
Yeah. Give me a bath bomb.
He put the kids to bed, rubbed my feet, and painted my toenails.
Damn.
What's this guy?
Damn. Like OP has the worst stepmom in the world, but she's got a man.
That's right.
She got a prince. This is a king.
Mhm.
This guy's knows how to treat his queen.
He held me as I cried and celebrated with me when I told him about the overwhelming support received when I shared our story. He specifically told me to tell you guys that he's incredibly thankful for you all being there when he couldn't be. He is being an absolute rock star right now. He's currently doing the laundry and dishes that have been neglected for the past few days while I binge Game of Thrones and Reddit. I'm really so grateful for the support you guys have given me. This community is overwhelming. I'll probably never get to every comment, but please feel free to PM me. Having people in the sub to talk to today has helped me so much. You all are the absolute best. Edit to add. Sorry, she was just talking about how great everyone was. And
Don't care.
I felt left out because it wasn't about us.
It's not about me that I don't want to know.
Edit to add that I'm being lovely sent to bed to catch up on some much needed sleep. So I will respond to you all lovely people in the morning. Update 2.
Woo.
The Hamburglar strikes again.
Oh no. We need to get some sort of restraining order on this woman.
Yep.
You need to call the police and say this woman stole my stuff. I mean, you probably don't. It seems you don't have proof, but you could be like, hey, I want someone to keep an eye out on her.
Dude,
Get some cameras up there.
I think you're missing out on your childhood. Well, you didn't get to watch TV. This is what we got to do, Sophia.
Yeah.
You got a Home Alone your house
Yeah.
or Tom and Jerry your house.
I watched Tom and Jerry.
Really?
Yeah, which one's Tom, which one's
Yeah.
Jerry?
What?
Yeah, which one's Tom, which one's
Tom's
Jerry?
the cat. Everyone knows that.
She passed, guys.
Tom and Jerry.
We're doing that. We got a box outside. Okay,
Yeah.
if they're going to steal the box from outside, we're going to have a box and then right underneath it, a big hole.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or like
Exactly.
box and then like something hits them on the head.
bonk. They
Exactly.
get freaking bonked.
Or a box
Or a box
electrocuted.
and they open it and there's bees in it.
And they go running. Ah! They do the Tom
Yeah.
scream.
And it's like,
Do the
Ouch!
Ouch!
that was pretty good.
Thank you.
I was impressed by that.
Thank you. I'll
Yeah.
work on it. I want to get that down. That'll
Yeah.
be my party
You gotta
trick.
do that like the scream one.
How does it go? How does it
It goes ah.
go? Alright.
Yeah, look at
It's
a crazy
I'm gonna read the
scream.
comments. Cyrilina Linnea says, "Yep, she definitely needs door cam." Kat says, "Change your freaking locks." Caitlin in comment says, "Oh, so the hamburger is a porch pirate too." Yeah, she's gonna steal your Amazon things, your packages. Kimberly Fines has got a road runner in it.
Yeah, bro. Yo, someone's gonna call CPS on
man.
us.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, who's screaming in that house?
All right.
Let's get into this.
Update 2, the Hamburglar strikes again. When I moved my
Ooh.
update to r/letters to JNMLMIP, promised you guys a Hamburglar related update today, but I thought I might be sharing a phone call since she was blowing up my phone at breakfast. That's a doozy one. So my angel of a mother is just as broke as we are, but does have the benefit of a full pantry. She has been inviting us over for practically every meal the last couple of days. And she only lives about 10 minutes away, so we've been taking her up on the offer a lot. This morning, we were treated to a giant platter of homemade French toast that was heavenly.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Hamburglar was blowing up my phone for the 2 hours we were there, which is actually the first time she's attempted to make contact since I first confronted her about stealing our food. I refused to let her ruin my morning and put my phone on silent. We made our way back about 10 a.m., fat and happy, to a screeching harpy on our porch.
Oh no.
Do the screech.
What's a harpy?
It's like a bird woman. It's basically just like a
It's
hag.
like a mythological creature.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
Or like also
yeah.
I love
In
it.
mythology, it's like a bird woman.
mythology. Yeah.
Sorry, Jan, about your dog. Sorry, Miming, I won't wake up your kids. Just turn it down. Hamburglar was on the porch with the original social service workers.
Oh, the maybe fake lady.
Ooh, I have no idea if this is a friend of hers or some poor woman who the witch has sunk her claws into, but I do know that Hamburglar seems to have a direct line to her instead of the CPS office, and apparently has enough to pull to have her at my house at 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
She's got an in with the CPS lady. That's the only possible option here.
You know
she's
who-
got an in.
You know who I'm calling right now?
Who?
That agent,
Ghostbusters.
that supervisor we talked
Yeah,
to.
yeah. You
I
say,
was so
hey, CPS lady's at my office or at my house.
And
What's
Dredd,
going
I
on?
did watch you, But yeah, no, they did do that.
Why was
I
that?
immediately sank down into the seat with a chorus of F, 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 F. So, dear husband parked behind Hamburglar in our very narrow driveway, thank goodness, and went out to confront her. From the car, I could hear her screeching about the locks being changed, which immediately told me she was trying to get into my house again. Dear husband said something I couldn't hear because he wasn't screaming like a lunatic. He later told me he said we changed them so she couldn't steal anything else from our children. And she slapped him.
Oh.
Whoa. This is a crazy mother-in-law story.
Guys, my husband is a 6'2", 250-pound teddy bear. He has never in his life dreamed of laying a hand on another person. He doesn't even like to discipline the 4-year-old because the kids cry when you put them in timeout. I saw red. I got out of the car and immediately started across the yard to be intercepted by the social service lady halfway across. I told her, rather rudely I'll admit, that I had been informed she was no longer on my case and asked her what the heck she was doing on my property when no one was home. She then told me that the only reason no one was home was because she had fled after she was called.
They had fled? How would they have fled? They didn't know you were coming.
Also, you probably got the wrong number if no one's picking up.
Yeah. What? Then she's like, you fled. And they were like, no, we were at work, girl.
Yeah, no, I'm getting my phone out right now
Yeah.
and recording
I'm
all of this
Yes.
and then reporting you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm saying you were off the case. Why are you at my house?
Absolutely. What? Yeah, Jan Digital, I wish they also had cameras.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. I told her no one had been there when we left for breakfast before 8 that morning, and the dumb witch laughed at me. Apparently, she got a call from Hamburglar around 9, and I was the old 1-2ing my 4-year-old in the face
Oh my
repeatedly
God.
to the point of bleeding, and we left after hearing her make the call so that we wouldn't be there when she arrived.
Okay, literally just show the 4-year-old. Be like, does this 4-year-old look fine?
I'm like picking the 4-year-old up by the collar of the shirt. Look at him.
Scruff. Look at this 4-year-old. Is he bleeding? No.
He looks fine. Dear husband heard her say this and started at the yard again right about the time she was telling me I needed to get the kids out of the car so she could examine them.
God.
Dear husband positioned himself between her and the car and told her under no circumstances were the kids leaving the car while they were on the property. Hamburglar noticed that no one was paying attention to her and took the opportunity to sprint past us to the car where the kids were and still sitting buckled in their seats. Impressive, really, since she must be at least 300 pounds. When she realized the doors were locked, she began beating on the window right next to my 4-year-old's face with 2 closed fists, screeching, DS1, open the door for Meemaw. Now he's still buckled to a 5-point harness and the doors are child locked. There's absolutely no way he's letting her into the car. But there is a very real possibility of her showering my toddler in glass.
Because she's
Oh,
banging so
she's
strong.
banging the
I'm
thing.
sorry. If you as a CPS worker
Or
like a
allowing this to
real
happen?
CPS worker saw that, you'd be like, oh, that woman's crazy. I should call the police. She's not a real CPS worker, or if she is, she's a freaking horrible one. And she's working with this stepmother. Like, this is a stepmother's friend or something.
Do you want to see what a harpy looks like, Riley?
Yes.
Okay,
You
well,
picked a
that's
bad
kinda-
picture.
Yeah, why did you pick that one?
Why did you, dude?
That's
Come on.
that's the one that was literally from like D&D.
Yeah.
Okay,
of
but,
course.
like,
that's not like the
there's
mythological one.
Listen, that is a mythological one.
Nah,
Yeah, but,
that's-
like,
that's
we're on
the-
YouTube
the
right now.
Spicy one.
Nothing came out.
That's like the
YouTube
spicy one, man.
is like not about it.
That's what harpies look like.
That's literally.
Yeah, okay,
what
I believe you, but
harpies
you
look
coulda-
like.
you want another one then? Here.
That's what I'm
That looks
thinking.
like a chicken, bro.
Hell yeah.
Bro, that's jigging.
That's it.
That
That's a harpy.
screeches.
Frank the Pug says sometimes CPS tries to find any excuse. One of my kids had an accident at 3 years old, and the hospital called CPS, and they tried to say I was neglectful due to the proximity of my bedroom. WTF?
Yeah.
Kids have accidents. That's gonna happen.
Dude, my brother one time, Ryder, like, had an accident in the bedroom where he was bleeding from his mouth because he tripped and fell on something.
What?
They just somehow do that to themselves.
Yeah. I like when I was little, I was jumping on the couch and I smacked into one of those like really pointy like doll houses. And I got like a huge egg on my forehead.
Aw.
It happened. I think I still it's very faint, but
Yeah, I
it's
can still see it.
What?
I was
Your head's just like-
I stood on a rocking
It's
chair.
3D layered.
Yeah. I stood on a rocking chair and broke my arm. Like, yeah.
How?
Kids, I was like 4 years old.
Mm. Can you call CPS on your brother? Because he broke my
don't-
arm once.
I don't
Your
think
brother
that would
broke
work.
your arm?
Yep.
What? How?
We were wrestling, and he did a
Dang.
cool move where he like double bumped me, and I was like, oh my gosh, don't do it. And then he did, and then it broke my arm,
Oh,
and I had to
wow.
go. And I broke my arm when I was learning how to write in kindergarten, so that's why my
Dang.
handwriting's bad.
That sucks.
And it was also the day before my first soccer game, so I was out the season. I got injured right before the season started.
That sucks, man.
My first injury.
Don't even have to use your hands in soccer.
Well, they weren't allowed to let a 5-year-old with a
kids.
broken arm run around.
I'm kidding.
Dear husband again reacts quickly and pulls the crazy lady away from the car while I'm standing there in shock. Dear husband tells me the senile old bats, they have to leave the property immediately. And the CPS lady pipes up that she isn't leaving until she can be sure that she isn't leaving 2 children in an abusive and vulnerable situation. Dude, call the cops. Listen to me.
Literally.
Call the cops.
Call the cops.
They're
call that
witnessing this.
other
I'm so
CPS.
confused. They're
Yeah.
literally witnessing this
Yeah.
and like, what?
I asked her if she thought I was beating my toddler bloody. Why aren't the cops called? She told me that this was a CPS matter and not a police matter.
It's not a her
And I
matter.
laughed and told her I disagreed and I was calling the police and started walking down the driveway towards the Hamburglar's car to make a call. This prompted her to begin screaming, "Don't touch my car!" But, so what's in her car? I peer in the window and see a forking Amazon box with our name and address on it. So now I get to tell the cops that not only is she trespassing, she's also stealing our mail. We live less than 5 minutes from the police station, so as I'm making the call, dear husband decides she can't leave if she's blocked in and lets go of her. Well, she decided to shove me to the ground, get in her car, and drive through the yard, running me over maybe by foot. Dear husband sees what's happening, gets in front of her car, so she's between the house and our car, with dear husband in front of her and a chain link fence behind her. Naturally, she reverses into the fence right as the police cruiser is pulling up. I swear to the goodness of the Lord above, a completely different person got out of that car. From what moments ago was a very fat version of the Vampire's Bride from Van
Helsing.
becoming a startling hobbling. I can't read what? I'm hobbling grandmother with a bad box red dye job. It was unsettling. Because this is getting long, I'll try to condense the rest as much as I can. 1. We were horrible, abusive parents, but had threatened her and frightened her badly enough that she was trying to leave, but we wouldn't let her out. Our package was only in her car because she was worried about it being on the porch in such a bad neighborhood and wanted to keep it safe, but couldn't take it inside for us because we changed the locks. 3. The CPS worker repeated this story she had told us to the cops and said that she didn't leave when we told her because we refused to let her examine the child.
The CPS worker is a fraud.
4. The cops looked at my children and confirmed that no one had been beating anyone bloody. Hamburglar said she must have been mistaken,
Well, she's a freaking liar.
but didn't understand why we would have left before the CPS winch got there if we hadn't done anything. 5. Cops called my mom and confirmed the time we arrived at her house and left to her house. 6. Cops made Hamburglar return the package, then refused to charge her for mail theft because the package was returned unopened.
That's stupid.
7. She did tell her that I had made it very clear she wasn't welcomed here and she would be arrested for trespassing if she returned. Okay.
Finally.
8. Hamburglar and co. left and the cops asked us a few more uncomfortable questions about how our kids were treated. I'm sure it's policy when someone says a kid might be mistreated, but I was ready for the whole ordeal to be over with. So my mom will be staying at the house with me for the next few days to help me keep an eye out for my packages and make sure I'm not here by myself if she comes back. I look for the rest of the days, calm down, and figure out how to move forward. Since it was nearly 2 p.m. when the cops finally left, I'll be going up to the office first thing Monday morning to file a report against that CPS worker. And where's my dad in all of this? Radio silent.
I'm going no contact with his dad because, like, all of this happens and he's not even saying anything.
He's probably like, oh, I'm used to it.
He's like, oh, you know, your stepmom. No, I don't want to know
That's just
her.
how she is.
I don't want to know her. I don't want to see her around, sniff it around these parts ever again.
It sucks too that, like, how are we not able to charge this woman with more or anything like that?
Literally.
Makes no sense.
Like, she's a nuisance. Get a restraining order. I want her in jail. And I want the CPS worker fired. Call CPS again. Say this woman came back to my house. Lied to the police. Get her fired.
I'm gonna need that. The package was a can of formula sent Saturday overnight delivery. So if that was someone here, we received it mostly safely. And update 3, the Hamburglar strikes again.
She strikes again, squared. Oh my goodness. This lady can't stop. She can't stop, won't stop. And I want her out of the story.
I'm still trying to figure out why she wants the kids. What is she getting out of
Trebuchet.
this?
I don't know. I think she's just crazy.
She sounds
I think
insane.
she's just crazy. Sometimes people are just crazy and you need to load them into the trebuchet. Fling them into the sun.
I wish we could do a small interview with this woman and be like, hey, so like, why
You
is
do a
OP
60-minute style
yeah,
interview.
like I see that you say OP's like mistreating the kid. Like, what's going on? Why do you think this?
Yeah.
And we get her side, and then she we kind of friends with her, and she slowly unravels her evil plan, and we're like, ha!
Yeah,
I
she starts
see.
monologuing.
Boom.
Exactly. Exactly. Who's the
Freaking
guy in
Joe.
the interview? What's the guy's on 60 Minutes?
It's not Alex Trueback.
You know what I'm talking about? What's his name? Well, anyway.
Bill Whitaker.
Bill Whitaker.
I'm Bill Whitaker, and we're here with the Hamburglar for 60 minutes. Yeah.
Why do you
screeching.
burgle
Yeah.
hams?
Why did you burgle the children?
Why are you burgling? All right. Update 3. Hamburger got what she wanted. Trigger warning,
Ooh.
pregnancy loss.
Okay, so if you don't like that, go to another story and come back.
Also, it seems like OP is technologically challenged. I'm going to start saying that to people when they don't understand how to use technology.
That they're technologically challenged.
I'm looking at
That'd
one
be
right
You
now.
did it today. That's not true.
Oh my gosh. You know it's true. Says the
I
person that
just-
uses Safari instead of Google Chrome. Like
it's
everyone
better.
else does.
It's better.
It's not better.
Literally better.
No, I saw you use it once and it messed up so many things.
At least she doesn't use Internet Explorer.
Yeah.
You
'Cause
can't
that's not-
use it anymore.
I know.
OP accidentally deleted this whole post, so I'm internally screaming right now. Okay, anyone here who has read my post knows about the Hamburglar doesn't think me fit to raise children, to the point of trying to have our children taken away. For anyone wanting to know, our follow-up CPS visit was wonderful, and our case was closed.
Thank goodness.
We went to our follow-up for the possible blighted emblem to discover a happy and healthy babe who is just not quite as far along as we thought. We got to see a nice strong heartbeat and went home with some pictures. We felt confident enough that the only problem was an early scan that my husband went ahead and went out of state for work this weekend. I went back to my OB early this morning with mild cramping to find out that my baby has no heartbeat.
Aw.
I haven't even been able to reach my husband to tell him yet. I'm planning on scheduling a D&C when he gets home, but if something happens before, then he won't be here, and it's a 10-hour drive. He can't start until the morning. I'm scared and alone. OP, I'm so
and Opie's
sorry.
already still dealing with monster stepmom.
Dang it.
Step monster.
No, Riley, you just think that because tech problems always disappear when the tech-savvy person
It's
shows up to
true.
fix it.
Exactly.
Look,
Exactly.
okay, we did have, Sam had a technological problem with the blender. And I went over there and I did it and fixed it. I can tell you about it. With a blender, okay? I'm not really a tech-savvy person. I worked at a freaking sawmill.
No, but
I put lumber into different piles. That's what I grew up doing.
Sam's
Not a
good at-
computer.
Sam's good at tech. He's just not good at kitchen appliances. And those
Also,
are different
someone
things.
moved my kitchen appliance. I have one kitchen appliance
Which
in the
one?
house. You know which one? The panini press
Yeah. I
that my
probably-
beautiful girlfriend got me.
I probably moved it.
Why
up
did you move it?
Because it was in the way. I don't want it out there. You need to put it
Okay,
away.
well, I don't want some of your kitchen appliances out there.
My kitchen appliances. are
Hey,
clean and
mom,
pretty.
dad,
No. Mm-mm.
back
You
to the
need move
story.
it You can't just leave it out.
You
Mom,
leave so many of your kitchen
Because
appliances.
they
Dad?
don't fit.
I'll find a spot
mom,
Okay.
dad. Riley's mom, Sophia's dad.
And also,
Don't
I
touch my
put
panini
it,
press.
to be clear, I put it above. It literally moved
Don't
one
touch it.
place above.
Let's get to the
Put it
story.
away.
Hey, let's get to the
for
story.
you. Update 4, in which Hamburglar gets out of jail and back in 24 hours. Trigger warning, pregnancy loss, very heated remarks regarding a termination. Riley always saves the day when the stream goes haywire. I do. Or Eddie. Sometimes when it gets really bad, I have to call the super
Yeah.
pro.
Eddie comes in.
I
He
just seem
fixes
like the
it.
pro. No. Eddie is the pro. He taught me everything I know. Hello, all of you beautiful people. I'm so sorry that I haven't been updating here. So much has happened. So buckle up. It is a 10-hour drive long ride. I did manage to get a restraining order against the Hamburglar with some help of the CPS. Whoa. Let's go.
CPS helped
Full
you?
circle.
They helped you. They
Man.
just had a bad person there. Wow. Over the course of the last couple of months, original CPS lady lost her job too.
Woo.
We weren't the first time she had mistreated her power.
Thank goodness.
And Hamburglar ended up losing her mind in a spectacular way.
Thank goodness.
Scheduled another US a week after that went by while my husband was out of state for work and found out that the hemorrhage had grown. Dear husband drives a truck, so it was impossible to even get in touch with him that day until he got off work. Due to the size of the hemorrhage and the fact that I hadn't had any bleeding, I was going to have a D&C to prevent sepsis, and I didn't want to schedule anything without dear husband being there. So I left the OB, called my dad in a moment of weakness. I still regret. Months later, my dad was an angel, immediately supportive, and offered to come get the kids and watch them for as long as we needed. Thankfully, I turned him down as the kids were still with my mom since I had been put on bed rest until this appointment. I told him everything that had happened, including my current condition, and the impending procedure and the fact that I couldn't talk to dear husband until he got off work. So I was basically dealing with this alone. He told me to come out to their house, and I told him point blank that the last person I wanted to deal with then was Hamburglar, and he said he understood and dropped it. So, of course, he told Hamburglar what was going on. And of course, she proceeds to blow up dear husband's phone for 6 hours.
Oh my goodness.
So when he gets off work, instead of immediately calling me as he would have, he called her first because he was afraid something had passed away.
No.
He had hundreds of missed calls from her. She answers the phone by screeching about how I am an unaliver. I went off when he was gone to get a pregnancy termination. Apparently, I have been planning this for weeks. Quotes in the air. Anyways.
Dude,
Are you
what?
insane? Is she insane?
Dude, what is wrong with this person?
The baby wasn't born with the heartbeat. You psycho.
Also,
Bro, she's a demon.
if you have a restraining order against someone,
Step
shouldn't you
demon.
also block them?
Yes. You block her.
Step demon.
Block her.
She's trying to
Literally
harass you
block
in
her.
any way, shape, and form.
Oh my God, block her.
This is
Jesus. Yeah, Josephine says, how is this dad still staying with this POS scum? I don't know.
ugh. He knew she was full of crap and hung up on her. Then called me, so I didn't even get to tell him on my way, in my own way. I had to explain that Hamburglar was effing witch and how she had come to that wildly different conclusion. I called my dad to tell him what she did, and as far as I know, he was pissed and promised we wouldn't be hearing from her again. I ended up getting the procedure scheduled for a week after the U.S., and luckily got the cameras we were gifted to set up before then, because we came home afterwards to our completely destroyed home. Jen Digital, she got the cameras.
Oh my. How does she
What?
not have cameras?
She does now. She set them up before it happened.
Okay, before it happened.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. She got the
Thank
cameras.
God. Okay.
Okay. This crazy witch busted through our window with a
What?
golf club
What?
that she would have had to buy for this expressive purpose because neither of them golf, and let herself in, then proceeded to destroy everything
Oh
we
my
own.
God.
She
What?
destroyed our TV, our Xbox, took a knife to
No.
our mattress, including the kids, and our brand new cow.
Not the couch.
She piled every piece of clothing she could find in the house, ours and the kids, in the middle of the living room, and covered them in bleach.
What?
Gallons
Oh my God.
and gallons. I don't think we should read this because it might give some people ideas. Oh my gosh. She smashed every breakable thing she could find with the golf club, including the toilet, our dishes, every window in the house, everything. She shoved our AC unit out of the window to the ground, destroying it. She didn't touch the food though. So I guess the don't mess with our grandkids food lesson set in, but that was it. We got home to Hamburglar sprawled in the front yard, golf club in one hand and a bottle of my wine in the other, absolutely plastered, screaming about how I'm unaliving witch who hates children, trying to keep my babies from me. So we were also those weird people that collect liquor in weird, interesting bottles, and every single one was smashed in the yard around her. I'm not sure how many she tried to drink and how many she just broke, because she would have passed away if she had drank them all, but she had clearly drank plenty.
Bro, this is probably one of the worst stepmoms we've ever read about.
Dude, worst crash out I have ever seen
That
on
is a
this
crash
channel.
That's a crash out. That's the crash out.
Imagine coming in this room and seeing all of the monitors, all the cameras, all the windows, couches just torn up, completely gone.
And someone's in here with like surrounded by wine bottles and be like, yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely getting.
I mean, she's going to jail for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And I'm looking
but like,
at Dad.
how do you get all of this? Like, hopefully you had insurance or something. But how do you? Maybe you take her to, like, it's a criminal case, like a vandalism case, and maybe she has to pay the fine for all of this.
Yeah. Also,
She needs to pay all
Cheryl, good
that.
point. It's surprising that no neighbors called the police,
That is
especially if
shocking.
they were in a bad neighborhood or in
That
a neighborhood
is
at all.
shocking. And also, what was the mother? I thought the mother was there. OP said like her
Mm-mm.
mother was staying with her. Did she leave?
She was probably staying with her for those couple of days then, and then went back home.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So no, not doing. She didn't even get up out of the grass to actually engage us. just laid there and yelled, I guess trying to make sure the whole neighborhood knew how awful I was. So dear husband calls the cops while I sit there and listen to her screech about how I'm going to HE double hockey sticks, how I unalived my children because I can't handle the responsibility of being a parent.
OP is a parent.
I am a baby unaliver. I should have just passed away instead because she would have raised my baby and ad nauseum.
This lady is crazy.
She was honestly just repeating the exact same things over and over and over and over and over. Meanwhile, I just had a D&C for a miscarriage maybe an hour ago.
Dude,
And
can
I'm
you
dealing with the
imagine?
pain of losing a very wanted pregnancy, and she's here
Oh my
spewing her
goodness.
life BS at me.
Bro,
Oh
OP.
Where is the dad? Like, this lady's obviously crazy, but where is the dad in all of this?
This is psycho behavior.
Truly.
We gotta lock
Truly.
this woman up.
Yeah.
We gotta lock her up and then tell every single inmate in there what she did.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
She's crazy.
After about 20 minutes of this, the cops show up. Dear husband finally goes inside with one officer while the other stays outside with Hamburglar and me and actually sees the extent of the damage. Meanwhile, the cop outside listens to Hamburglar for a few minutes, then turns to me and says, are you sure you want to press charges? I mean, I can get her for wasted and disorderly, but there's no proof she actually did anything. And I said, well, all of my windows are smashed. She's holding a golf club, and that's my bottle collection in pieces around her. So, well, that's all circumstantial. There's no proof of anything.
What?
Let me tell y'all real quick. I live in the Bible Belt. It took me all of 0.5 seconds to figure out what was going on here. This cop had listened to her pregnancy termination rant, just decided she was justified, and was taking her side. Just wait. Isn't that what a lawyer's for? We have a restraining order. You have a restraining order. Yes, she broke into our house and stole all of our food and then tried to run me over with a car while I was pregnant. I swear this cop laughed in my face. Okay, well, you're not pregnant now, right? Guys.
Whoa.
Again, this is right after her.
What is going
This
on?
is right after
This is
she
a
came
horror
back
movie.
from the doctor's appointment.
This is a horror, dude. For OP,
I think you need to move.
this is a horror
I know you have-
movie.
I know you said you have like some money issues, but like if you can, you need to leave this place.
OP's life is literally
Ugh.
spun upside down in 3 different directions.
Guys, if dear husband and the other cop hadn't come back outside right then, I would have been the one in jail. I had enough time to scream, and I had a effing miscarriage before dear husband was back next to me and moved me away. The other cop quickly shut the first one down and said they were taking Hamburglar immediately.
Thank God one person is not insane.
He said it was the worst break-in he had ever seen in terms of damage. He actually called the first cop an idiot because Hamburglar wasn't in cuffs when he came back out and shut down the it might be circumstantial crap he was trying to spew. I guess some cops take restraining orders seriously. I gave my statement and had my mom pick me up, and my dear husband dealt with the rest of the cop stuff. Yeah, what's up with this other cop? Can we get him fired too?
Fire
Does
him.
does this stepmom have her claws in another person?
Yeah.
What is
Fire
going
them.
on?
Fire them all.
CPS messing up, the cops messing up.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
My dad finally seemed to come to his senses and refused to bail Hamburglar out the next day when she had sobered up enough to call him. Him and several of his friends helped dear husband clean out all of our stuff, replace the broken windows with windows that were a bit more smash resilient than the ancient windows we had before, and toilet and financed new furniture to replace the stuff she'd ruined. He wasn't able to make us completely whole, but it was a start, and we're working on rebuilding. And of course, Hamburglar tried to plead not guilty and had to go to trial. We gave our lawyer that my dad paid for the records we had of her smashing our window, reaching through to unlock the door, and destroying our living room. It didn't get everything, but it was more than enough. So when she tried to say she showed up wasted because she was so distraught over what I'd done and found my house like that, she looked stupid AF. Yeah, so it didn't work going her way whatsoever.
God, this woman's crazy.
Now let's fast forward to this morning. I am praying for some sort of good news
I
here.
just want everyone to go to jail. Obviously not you and your family, but like I want the stepmom in jail.
Yep.
I want the CPS worker in jail.
Yep.
I want that police officer in jail.
Yep.
Jail, 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 jail.
3 people in jail right
Bye.
now. Hamburglar was released on parole. I think. I'm not 100% the difference in parole and probation on Monday. So not exactly 24 hours, but close enough. I have the kids in daycare because I go back to work in a week. So I left my house at 8 this morning to drive them to daycare and then went back home. About 45 seconds after I locked the door behind me, Hamburglar pulls up in my driveway and gets out. So obviously she was watching for me to get home. She comes up to the door and starts knocking and calling through the door about how she wants to talk. There's obviously been a bunch of misunderstandings between us. She wants to fix things, yada, yada, yada. Dude, call the cops. Call the
How
cops.
is
Call
she
the cops.
still
Call the
here?
cops.
What is the point of a restraining order if she still comes around? These restraining orders are useless.
Well, conditions of her release included she was not allowed to contact me or my family in any way. So I called the cops again, who were very prompt in showing up this time.
Thank God.
I watched through my brand new windows as 3 cops surrounded my house within 4 minutes of me calling, and Hamburglar was cuffed and thrown into the back of a car. When I opened my door to give my statement, they were much nicer, and Hamburglar had switched back to screaming obscenities at me from the back of the cop car. I called my lawyer, who seemed thoroughly unsurprised, and he promised to call me as soon as he figures out what's going on, when she gets rebooked and everything. So that's all done. I'm sitting at a Starbucks down the street using the Wi-Fi because I suddenly feel unsafe in my home again, even though I'm pretty much sure she's back in jail. I'm sorry for the novel, but it's been a heck of a roller coaster and I needed to get it out. I haven't even called my dad yet. I'm waiting until I have something to say besides get your she-demon on a leash. Update 5. Update 5. Update 5!
Your dad freaking
There's another update!
This better be she's in jail.
I read the
That's
first
it.
sentence.
If it's not she's in jail for life, I don't want it.
I don't know if I want to read it.
You have to.
You have to read it.
Let's dive in.
We got to know.
Let's dive in.
Update 5, Hamburglar isn't a joke.
Boo!
Basically what the title says. How do I know this? Just drove past my house in broad daylight. I called my lawyer and he said there's nothing they can do about her driving down the road. I do live in a pretty busy area. It's not like I'm out in the middle of nowhere. My street runs between 2 major roads in my city. We can't even prove that she did drive by. And of course, dear husband is out of town for work all weekend, so it's just me and the kids at home. He won't be home until Friday. My mom is out of town visiting her girlfriend, so we can't go over there. I have a friend coming over to sit with me until she gets off work, but seriously, you guys can listen to crazy, ridiculous, wild stories just like this on your favorite podcast app platform. Just go where, Sophia?
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app.
And what are you going to search up?
Okay, Storytime.
And while you're searching OK Storytime, there will be a plethora of stories just like these there, waiting for you.
Truthfully, I'm just angry. I hate these people.
Anyways, I'll update if anything happens. Edit reporting idiot cop on Monday. Has anyone had to do this before? Can you share your experience? Should I actually expect to hear if anything comes of it? Will it be more of a, okay, thanks for telling us, we'll handle it, bye? Yeah, it might be that. But it's still good.
Seems like it has been that.
I think it would still be good to get it in writing or go to the HR department in a police department and be like, hey, this person talked to me this way. Just to have it on record.
Yeah.
Because if he does it again, they can go back to that and be like,
like, he talked to you that way. Yeah, Dorette says, how does she keep getting out of jail?
I am going to need that.
That is the end of that story.
When was the last update?
6 years ago. She needs to be in jail.
Oh, wow.
How did, what?
What?
that's where I'm at. What?
But that's the end of the episode.
If you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.